You know, for as long as we've looked up at the night sky, there's been one little red dot that has grabbed our imagination more than any other: Mars. It's always been this beacon of possibility, right? Our next frontier. But now, as we're getting closer than ever to actually going there, this huge question is hanging over our heads, a question that pits our biggest dreams against some seriously harsh realities. So let's get into it.
I mean, think about it. It's that reddish point of light that has sparked myths, inspired countless stories, and really pushed generations of scientists and dreamers to ask, what if? It speaks to that fundamental part of us that just has to know what's over the next hill, or, in this case, a few 100 million miles away.
And really, that's the core of the debate, isn't it? Is pouring all of this money, this brainpower, this incredible effort into colonizing Mars the next logical step for humanity? Or is it a fantastically expensive, incredibly dangerous dream that's pulling our focus away from problems we need to solve right here on Earth? That's what we're going to unpack in this explainer: the dream versus the deadly reality. Okay, so first up, let's talk about the dream. Let's look at all the powerful arguments for making this incredible journey. Because this isn't just about planting a flag and calling it a day. The people who advocate for a Martian colony, well, they've got some pretty compelling reasons why we absolutely must go.
It really all boils down to three huge ideas. First, and this is the big one, survival. Right now, we're all on one planet. That makes us vulnerable. Think of Mars as the ultimate insurance policy for the human species. Second, the science. The potential for discoveries just off the charts. We could finally answer that age-old question: are we alone? And third, innovation. The sheer difficulty of just living on Mars would force us to invent incredible new technologies. Things in recycling, robotics, energy, stuff that would have a massive positive impact right back here on Earth.
And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? For a lot of people, the drive to go to Mars is just part of being human. It's about that deep-seated curiosity, that refusal to accept that the horizon is the limit. It's all about pushing the boundaries of what we think is possible.
Okay, so that's the dream. But, and this is a really big but, for every grand vision, there's a serious reality check. When it comes to Mars, that reality is a set of hurdles so massive, some scientists call it the Great Martian Filter, a series of challenges that might just be too big for us to overcome.
Just look at these numbers. They tell a really stark story. We're not talking about Earth's slightly more difficult cousin here. We are talking about a place that is actively hostile to human life 24/7. The atmosphere is basically unbreathable carbon dioxide at 1% of our pressure. And the lower gravity? We have no idea what that does to the human body long term.
And then you have the temperature. That average of -81 Fahrenheit is brutal enough, but it can actually plummet to a mind-shattering -225 degrees. That's about -143 Celsius. There is nowhere on Earth that even comes close. Surviving that isn't just a technical problem. It is a constant, unending war against the laws of physics.
But here's the thing. We can probably engineer our way around the cold. We can build heaters, we can insulate habitats. The far, far greater threat, the one that truly keeps scientists up at night, is the one you can't see, you can't feel, and you can't hear. It's the constant shower of cosmic radiation from deep space.
This chart, well, it says it all. Here on Earth, our magnetic field and our thick atmosphere protect us. It's like living inside a shield. Mars has neither of those things. An astronaut on the surface would be soaking up so much radiation that they'd hit their lifetime safety limit in just a couple of years. It's a biological roadblock that we just haven't figured out how to solve yet.
And all of this just shows you that building a city on Mars isn't a single mission. It is a multi-generational epic. I mean, you start with a vision, sure, but that's the easy part. Then comes a 200-day trip through deep space that's not just physically dangerous, but psychologically crushing. And then, if you make it, the first settlers would spend decades, maybe even a century, just trying to survive before that place could ever be considered a true, self-sustaining city.
So, where does that leave us? You've got this beautiful, inspiring, powerful dream on one side, and on the other, this incredibly harsh, unforgiving, and lethal reality. How in the world do you weigh one against the other?
When you put the dream and the reality side by side like this, the conflict is just crystal clear. The dream of saving humanity runs smack into the reality of a world that wants to kill you. The hope of new science is blocked by the fact that our own biology might not be able to handle it. And that promise of a huge tech leap, it's held back by logistical problems on a scale we have never, ever faced before.
But you know what? Maybe, just maybe,
We're asking the wrong question. Maybe the whole point isn't about whether we actually build a city on Mars in the next 100 years. Maybe the real value is in what happens to us right here when we try to do it.
This really sums it up perfectly. When you look back through history, it's always been the pursuit of those seemingly impossible goals, those moonshots, that created the biggest breakthroughs. The ambition itself is the engine that drives us forward.
And that brings us to a final thought I want to leave you with. What if the goal of colonizing Mars is actually the greatest catalyst we could ever ask for? A challenge so big, so unifying, so incredibly difficult, that just by trying to solve it, we end up solving some of our biggest problems right here on Earth. Maybe the real treasure of our Martian future isn't out there in the red dust, but in the better, smarter, more sustainable world we have to build just to get there.